Carson City Airport Authority meeting Wednesday, October 21st, 2020, and get a roll call and determination of a quorum.
Chairperson Golden,
I am here.
Vice Chair Harris,
Here.
Treasurer Rogers,
Here.
Member Barrett,
Here.
Member Hamilton,
Here.
Member Pulis.
Here.
A quorum is present.
Okay, very well. We're going to rise as I can here, figure this one out, do the Pledge of Allegiance. Give me a minute to get the flag. Bear with me, hold on. Okay. Paul, you want to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance? I'll start. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic
for which it stands,
one nation,
under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, moving on to approve the minutes of the last meeting.
This is John Rogers. I move that we approve the minutes from the last meeting.
Second. Barrett.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second to approve the minutes of the last meeting. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Okay, minutes from the last meeting are approved. Modification of the agenda. I see no need to modify this evening's agenda. Public comment. This is reserved for members of the public who wish to address the airport authority. We have received some written comments on non-agendized matters that I will discuss in just a moment. Is there any public comment?
Yes, Mr. Chair, it looks like we have a few callers.
We do, okay.
Callers, when you hear the beep, it is your turn for public comment. Please state your name for the record. Caller, it is your turn for public comment. Please state your name for the record. Caller, it is your turn for public comment. Please state your name for the record. Caller, it is your turn for public comment. Please state your name for the record. Mr. Chair, that looks like it's it for public comment.
Okay, I didn't hear any public comment, Desi.
Correct. I didn't either.
Okay, and we've been taking public comment in writing, and I will summarize the public comment that we received. It was for a non-agendized matter. It was commentary and opinion regarding the presidential visit of that took place on Sunday, and there were three who submitted written comments to us about that event, and we'll leave it at that. So,
Mr. Chair, this is Ken.
yeah,
I have a text message from Steve Lewis who says he's attempting to use the WebEx. He is on the phone line. He said he's not been able to do the WebEx, but he is on the phone line. I just want to make you aware of that. And I can ask Steve if the other members of the Carson Tahoe Executive LLC are with him or if they're separately on a phone line. Desi, is there a way to tell that?
Unfortunately, I can only see the first 6 digits of phone numbers.
Oh, so you do have
So
some people on? Okay.
yeah, I called out all of them for public comment, and nobody said anything.
Okay.
So
that may be why.
No, these are attendees.
Okay, well, true.
Yeah, these are
Okay,
attendees.
okay.
Okay. All right,
Okay.
perfect. I just want to make that
Yeah.
clear. And then,
Okay, and before we go there, Ken, I'm just going to turn this over to you because I know you want to recognize our new staff member.
that's affirmative. Thank you. This is Ken Moen for the record. I have in the audience today, Rick Lee, and Rick is our new employee. His first day was Monday. And I'm going to invite Rick up to the table so he can say a few words. Rick, go ahead and take a seat down there. Rick was one of 3 candidates that was interviewed, and I believe, very fortunate to have a great candidate like Rick, and he's been drinking out of a fire hose for the last 2 days. And I want to just turn this over to him, and he can tell a little bit about himself. Rick?
Good evening. As Ken said, my name is Rick Lee. I am the new airfield maintenance and operations technician for Carson City. Prior to coming here, I worked for about 4.5 years at the Reno Tahoe Airport as an airfield maintenance technician. Prior to that, I was a mechanic and a weapons repair technician for the Nevada Army National Guard and the United States Army. I'm a Carson City native, grew up here, currently reside here, and I'm just really thankful for the opportunity that the board and Mr. Moen has given me to come work for Carson City. I'm going to do my best to learn as much as I can and try to become a increasingly valuable asset to the airport authority and the airport in general. So thank you all for having the confidence to put me on board, and look forward to working with all of you.
Thanks, Rick. Look forward to meeting your acquaintance, and welcome aboard.
Hey, Mr. Golden, this is Tim Pulis. Can I make a comment before we go any farther?
Sure you can, but everything's being delayed on my end. Go ahead.
I just want to ask Desi, since he's our facilitator, Steve Lewis is trying to join the WebEx via the video the way he was led to believe he could. He's on the phone only because that's the only way he can get in, and he's not certain that we'll be able to hear him when he talks. Is there some technical things you can do to help our people participate better in this conference?
on our end, there's not. If he doesn't, if I had like the first 6 digits of a cell phone number or the number he's calling in from, I might be able to differentiate who he is,
Okay.
and then I can unmute him at that time.
I'll get it to you. His phone number is 775
Okay.
720 5092.
59. I have 720-5902 for Steve.
I have 5092.
And his name is Steve Lewis.
That's correct.
Steve, are you on the line now? Can you hear us? Yeah, I only have one caller in the queue with that number. He's unmuted right now, but it doesn't look like I can hear him.
That's what he was saying. He wasn't sure we could hear him from his dial-in. That's why I'm asking for technical support. he's got an item on the agenda and he wants to be able to be heard.
Steve, I'm
Did
going to
he,
text him
did
right
he
now and see if
receive,
he can answer.
yeah,
He says he can hear us. I'm going to ask him,
Okay.
I'm going to ask
Yeah,
him to
but
see if he can talk.
But we can't,
Steve, can you hear us now?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay,
Yes.
can. Okay. Okay, so now that Steve's identified, I'll be able to unmute him when it's his turn to speak on an item.
my question is there a reason he can't join the WebEx via video?
If he received the attendee link that I had sent out, he can join that way. I can't send that attendee link now that the meeting has started, but
He did. He said he did receive that. He's been trying for now half an hour.
Okay, well, we got two choices here. We can either discuss the item without input from the public, since we can't get it, or defer the item to a later date. Why don't you ask him what his preference would be?
Well, Steve can speak and hear us. I think that that should be acceptable to go forward. We just don't have video.
correct.
I don't think anybody wants to delay the item because we don't have a video.
No, I don't want to delay the item. I'm just very disappointed. We can't get our shit together and do this correctly. That's my problem. I'm just very frustrated.
Well, I
I'm very
think,
frustrated.
But to keep it
We
clear,
have
we're on
another
the record here.
presenter. Hey, Desi? Desi?
Yes,
Desi?
yes, Michael.
Okay, this is Michael. I got a chat message from Thomas Chaplin, who is
Yep.
also trying to participate on the agenda. He said that he can see the videos and hear the audio. His mic is muted and his video is not on. He believes that's because he was waiting for the moderator to turn his mic and video on.
That is correct. The
Can you
list of
turn?
yeah, so I have a list of attendees. I have Chris Knox, Rob Howie, Stellar Aviation, Thomas Chaplin, and Brad Cost. And they're attendees. I can make them panelists, but then if I make them a panelist, they can join in and out of the meeting whenever
We
they
don't
like,
want to make a
if that's what you would like.
Okay. Jesse,
Huh?
we want them to be able to participate in the meeting.
Okay. Give me 1 second, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Okay, I made all those attendees panelists now, so they should be able to hear and see us, and they should be able to unmute and talk to us whenever they need to.
Okay, if they need to. So, and Steve Lewis can definitely hear us. Is that correct?
Steve, you're still with us?
Yes, and I can hear you. Thank you.
Okay, good deal, Steve. It's Michael. You can hear me?
Yes, I can, Michael. Just unfortunate that I can't dial in. I've been trying for 20 minutes with WebEx. I'm familiar with WebEx. It's just not letting me connect.
Yeah, okay. Enough point for technical difficulties. Move into public hearings. Item F1 for action, approval to assign the Sterling Air ground lease to Carson Tahoe Executive. Let me preface this by stating that this is really a perfunctory matter. It shouldn't require a significant amount of discussion. It has gone through legal review. I'll let Steve Takis address that. Aside from that, it's just an amendment of the lease. So Steve, take it away. Steve Takis, can you hear me? Hey, was anyone able to hear Steve Takis? Hello?
No, Mr. Chair.
Yeah, I have no, I have no input from Steve Takis.
Yeah, I'm looking. I got Steve's video and I got his audio. I'm not sure why we can't hear him.
We cannot hear him. Here. Okay, Jesse, what do you want to do about it?
Mr. Chair, I can only control things on my end. I cannot control things on the far end, which would be the callers, the users outside.
Okay, let me,
So
can you open, Jesse, let me speak for a moment, please. Can Ken Moen hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Obviously. Ken, is there a way to do this without the Sierra Room, the way this is set up? It's obviously not working.
Mr. Chairman, this is Kent Moen. Would you like me to address the item?
No, I don't. We'll address the item.
Takis, can you hear
What
us
I'm asking
now?
is, Ken, what I'm asking you is, you had this set up with another link where you were the host. That seemed to work in the past. We moved to the Sierra Room, and now it's not working.
Mr. Chairman, yes, we're in the Sierra Room. Yes, we have, the city has been doing board meetings via WebEx for the same length of time we have. They have way more technical ability and competency than the way we've been doing it. And so I can't explain why Mr. Takis is not on. We saw him earlier. I don't know what happened on his end, but I don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater and say that just because we're here at this moment, that's why it's not working. I don't believe that.
No, Ken, that's not what I was asking you. What I was asking you is, can we cancel this meeting the way it's set up and then in with you as the host?
I'm not even logged into the internet. I can
Okay.
ask Desi if we can start over. Desi, is that possible that we
Well,
can?
the issue is, yeah, if we can't hear our participants, we can't have a meeting.
Well, Desi,
yes,
is there a way that we log back out, we all start over with that and reinitiate that meeting, or would that meeting be history and you have to send out a new link?
I can start and stop this meeting again, so we don't have to send out anything new if
Okay.
you would like.
Do you think
It
that would
will,
be,
once I
would
start
that
and
be
stop,
helpful?
once I stop the meeting, everybody's going to be kicked out of the meeting and they'll have to rejoin again. So it could be helpful. But I like I was explaining before, everything on our end, I can control and I can fix. I can't control anything once it leaves the Sierra Room
Understood,
on the far end.
understood. Mr. Chairman, what would you like to do?
If we can't have participation in the meeting, we're going to have to adjourn.
Now, the question was,
That-
should we log
I'll do
out
that. I
and
keep your cell
everybody
phone
log
going
back
into the
in?
Sierra Room. This is a clusterfuck.
I'm going to
Tim, you got a
ask
hot
again
mic.
that
Members,
people
mem-
keep this
mem-
clean. We're
members.
on the record.
Tim, you have a hot
Members-
mic.
Members, this is the moderator again, Desi. I have to reiterate what Mr. Barrett said. This is going live. It is on TV. It is on the internet. It is on the record. So please refrain from using offensive language. Thank you.
So if everybody can hear us, Desi, I'm going to make the suggestion, this is Ken Moen, that we all leave the meeting, use the same link and the same phone number if you're on the phone and dial back in. Let's give it till on the hour. It's now just about 3 minutes before. So let's all leave the meeting and then start back over. And that's, everybody in the room that we're at won't have to do anything. It's only for those of you that are online or on the telephone. So please leave the meeting, give it till on the hour, and then log back in.
Sierra Room, but I trust you can hear us. Now we're seeing the room at the community center.
Loud and clear.
So Steve, can you say something? Can hear you?
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Can you? Yes.
Okay, so just real quickly to summarize, we received the assignment. The assignment is in a form that we have previously used at the airport authority. It's been acceptable to the authority. It's previously been used with the Board of Supervisors and was acceptable to them. So I'm anticipating their own legal review won't change anything. We have reviewed financials. It's a single member LLC. It's a different entity than we discussed at the last meeting where this came up. However, it's really the same core people. In particular, the primary person is Jeff Pickett. His financial evidence looked good. Ken also received the other items on the checklist. I don't know if he has any input on those, but from a legal standpoint, all the T's have been crossed and the I's have been dotted. And so my legal recommendation is, unless you have some other reason not to approve it, you should go ahead and approve the assignment.
I don't see a reason for us not to approve it based on the information we've been provided with. Ken, do you have anything you want to share with us? If not, I would open this up to public comment.
No, I do not have anything to add.
Okay. Are there any members of the public who care to comment on this matter? Okay. Seeing none, I would call for a motion to assign the Sterling Air ground lease to Carson Tahoe Executive LLC.
This is Bradley. I move.
Barrett, second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Anyone opposed? Any opposition? Okay. The motion carries. I do want to state, though, for the record, I think we've lost Tim. Could be wrong. Yeah, I think we may have lost Tim. We've definitely lost video on Tim.
Tim said to me that he was going to dial in. He said he was getting unstable internet on his end.
Okay, fair enough. We're going to move on to the consent agenda. And I think everyone's familiar with how that works. I see Tim's back with us. So we're moving on to the consent agenda. We have 2 items on there. If any member of the airport authority wishes to pull either one of those items off for discussion, please say so now. Okay. Any comment from members of the public on the consent agenda? Seeing none, I would entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda as submitted.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
this is Steve Takis. Is the consent agenda include the gate purchase? I can't tell from you.
No, it does not.
Great, no problem.
Yeah, the consent, just so that we're clear, the consent agenda is to approve Sterling Air as a Class 2 FBO to provide aircraft sales. And we know who the applicant is there, and there shouldn't be an.
And Mr. Golden,
Go ahead.
I want to just confirm that the board memo specifies that Sterling Air Limited is providing not just sales, it's also the other FBO services were appraisal, financing, and management. It didn't make that into the title, but it was in the board memo.
Yeah, that's fine. We have a pretty good idea of what Steve Lewis is going to continue to be doing. And then the other item on the consent agenda is to approve Class 2 FBO, which is Pure Flight, providing private aviation management, brokerage, and crew services.
That's also correct.
The opportunity again, now that we've had clarification. Any comments from members of the public? Now would be the time to voice them. Okay, seeing none, members of the airport authority, anyone care to levy a motion and a second?
This is John Rogers. I move that we approve the consent agenda as submitted.
Barrett seconds.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda as submitted. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. I think we've definitely lost Tim. Yeah, I don't want to count Tim in on the vote. I'm showing that he's absent from my screen. So I would say that that is all members of the authority voted aye. Affirmative. That would be 5 of us, I believe, with Tim being offline for whatever reason. Okay, we're going to move on to our final public hearing item, which is discussion with the airport manager to complete a contract to purchase and install new gate access control system through Mesquite Electric. Go ahead, Ken.
Thank you, Chair Golden. As part of my airport manager's report, which does follow this part of the meeting, I discussed that we are undertaking, as well as part of the engineer's report, we're undertaking the FAA AIP grant number 33 that involves the replacement of 4 airport access gates, the addition of access control gate at the airport firehouse, and the upgrade of the fence line along Taxway Charlie and Bravo, the installation of animal wildlife skirting on areas that are undeveloped, and then 3-strand barbed wire. As part of this project, and we discussed this during the budget hearings and the capital improvement projects that the Airport Authority funded, and that was the upgrade and installation of a new gate access control system. That system was first installed in early 2000 and is currently operating at maximum capacity. So it's a perfect opportunity for the airport to upgrade that system in conjunction with the new airport access control gates. During the original bidding process for that fence contract, we included as an optional item the airport access control gates, access control system, excuse me. And we only had one bidder on that job, and that was Custom Fence, and they submitted a bid for $64,000 for upgrading the airport access control system. Since then, Armstrong Engineering, in conjunction with the Airport Authority, sought a couple other bids, and one bid was from a company called Nevada Security, and they submitted actually the lower bid, except for we didn't believe that the system met the specifications that we were requiring. And Mesquite Electric, who's the sub-electrical contractor on this project, submitted a bid, and they spec'd a system that we believe will meet our criteria. There's 2 options on that system, and the first option is includes the server, the gigabyte point backhaul radio. That's for the communication with the server for the gates on the north side of the airport. And then it also builds in single door controllers and a camera at each reader. The second option includes, they spec long-range RFID readers, which are radio frequency readers that you would put in the a sticker in your vehicle. We're still working through that option. We're not certain that's the way we want to go, whether we want to continue with proximity cards, but they spec'd it for us in the price so that we can continue to review that and have the board give us the authority to upgrade to that portion if we are so inclined. So we've, in my proposed motion, I've asked the board to consider to approve the purchase and installation of a new access control system not to exceed the amount of $30,000. A point I want to make from our last meeting in September is the board authorized me to contract with Casey Paving to do the perimeter road and near the porta ports and the emergency fire access with Station 52. With further discussion with the paving company and also with the engineer and a couple of the other the board members, we only paved the perimeter road, and we paved about a third of the fire lane, and that was because they had some excess material, and we went ahead and laid it down. It didn't cost us anything to do that. So we do have a portion of that done, but we saved the about $25,000 from that project. Another point I want to make is that when the FAA approved our grant for $900,000 for this fence project, in a normal year, we would have had a 6.25% match, which would have equated to roughly about $50,000. Since we don't have that match and its requirement this year because it's 100% federally funded, I think it's very prudent to take 3% of that savings from our local match and upgrade our access control system. And so that way we'll get a whole new airport environment security system with new gates, with new fencing, and a new and improved access control system that we should last us the next 20 years. And with that, Mr. Chairman, I'll turn it back over to you.
Thanks, Ken. That's a good presentation. I have to ask if there are any members of the public who care to comment on this. Tom Chaplin, I see you're still with us and you're one of our tenants. If you have any comment, please weigh in. You'll have an opportunity after we discuss this too. No?
No, but that sounds good. You can't have enough technology to keep people that shouldn't be on the field off. And the animal skirting I'd not even thought about, but that's nice to know that you guys are keeping the animals off the runway for us.
Okay, thanks, Tom. Any other members of the public have any questions, comments?
Mr. Chairman, it's Steve Takis. I just wanted to relay, John Mays had asked me to offer to the airport manager or the authority his own expertise in helping with the gate project. There's no question that we need to replace the gate control system. And I think Ken's done some good legwork here, and Armstrong probably has as well. But, you know, we've got this tremendous resource on the field, and he's offering to help. So I just he asked me to lay that out there, and I'm doing that right now.
And Mr. Takis, this is Ken. I missed who you said you were cut out. Who was the resource?
John Mays.
Oh, okay.
John Mays, who has particular expertise in these kinds of control systems. And he's offered to help and asked me to relay that offer. He couldn't be at the meeting today, so he asked me to relay it.
Thank you.
Now, let me address that a little bit, Steve.
Yeah.
Okay, because this will lead us into the discussion. And Ken, if you could take some notes while I'm talking, and I'm going to let all members of the airport authority discuss this matter, but I'm going to take the lead on this because I received a call from John Mays, not myself, tenant on the airport, and he had a lot of questions about it. He absolutely does have excellent expertise in the matter. One of the things he asked me is, and I don't have an answer, Ken can help us with this, but he wanted to know if there was any sort of telecommunication control where we could remotely open a gate, a tenant could remotely open a gate for a delivery, for example. And was there a telecommunication system whereby you could get to the gate and there would be some sort of directory where you could reach a tenant on the airfield? I don't know the answers to those questions. I think it's probably time to be looking into that since we are going to be replacing the system. My own question is, are we going to replace the actual gates themselves? I'd like to know that. And if so, are we going to replace them with guillotine gates or the sliders that we have existing there today? So that's what I'd like to know. And I'm going to pass it around to each of us for comment. So members of the airport authority, start with Bradley. Bradley, what do you have to discuss on this one?
I don't have anything to add or ask.
Okay. John Rogers.
I also have nothing to add or ask.
Thanks. Paul?
I guess my question is, this is all 4 gates, plus is this the one exit gate that we're planning on putting on the other side of the terminal, or is that a different project?
No, that's included in this project, but I want to address the chair's questions, and I'll take that one up at that time too.
Okay, that's my question.
Okay, John Barrett here.
And John,
Even though I was in the gatekeeper business when I was a newsman, in a different sense, I just think it should be a good system. So I'll just make that comment, no questions.
And we also have
Okay,
a
thanks again.
consulting engineer on the line, Chris Knox, and he'll be able to address any of those technical questions as well. I do want to relay that the fence project does include the replacement of the existing 4 automated gates, or excuse me, correction. It includes the replacement of the gate next to the terminal building on the east side. It includes the replacement of the gate at Mountain West Aviation, and it includes replacement of the gate at the top of Arrowhead near the Sierra Air Park hangars. There is an additional gate that's going to go onto the west side of the airport terminal building that's an exit gate, but will also be wired to convert to an ingress gate as well as an egress gate if there's something wrong with the one of the gates at the airport on the east side of the terminal building. So our goal is that the gate on the east side of the terminal building would be only an ingress, and the gate on the west side of the building would be an egress gate for the purposes of reducing congestion at the gate. And gate 1 is very busy, and we think that that'll improve traffic flow. We do have now with the NDOT on the south side of the hangar, south hangar, we do have a lot more traffic, the taxis on that area. And so to reduce congestion at the gate is one of our objectives. And then the other gate that's going in next to Station 52 is currently a manual gate. And so they're also going to get a new access gate. And those gates are pivot gates, or as you described them, guillotine gates. They are not slide gates. They're being constructed right now, so they're made to order and will be delivered sometime and installed by mid-December. I do have Chris Knox on the line to address any of these questions regarding the access control system. But the point I'll make is that there is the ability to communicate with the gate reader. So, for example, if I'm in my office and somebody pushes a call button at gate 4, for example, and says, "Hey, my gate card's not working," there's a camera in there, and I can be able to identify that person and allow them in. The idea of just buzzing in a delivery person to wander our airport is not really high on my security list, and nor is some sort of directory where people could be buzzed in and then allowed to search for a hangar. So anybody who enters the gate that's not at the airport that's not already properly credentialed would still need to be escorted, and that could include utilities and that sort of thing, pest management, et cetera. So there is some enhancements for helping card pass holders to get in if they don't have their pass with them, because we can identify them. but it's not meant to be like an apartment building or apartment parking lot where we just buzz people in or they could piggyback in. That's still not part of our security plan. So I'm going to ask Chris Knox if he has anything he'd like to add.
Yes, Ken and Mr. Chairman, I appreciate the opportunity. The thing to add with regards to some sort of call directory too is our limiting factor at Carson City is the lack of a fiber optic network at the airport. Unfortunately, one doesn't exist, and to install one for this project would change the prices by an order of magnitude. So we're going to be relying on a 2.4 gigahertz radio connection, essentially a Wi-Fi like connection with a server in the airport admin building, and that's going to be our network data link across the airport between the admin building and the gates on the north side. The gates on the south side will be near the building will be tied into that network directly, but on those gates on the north end, we're limited by that data link. And the data link is capable of supporting pretty low resolution video, but useful video out of the card reader, like Ken mentioned. It also is capable of voice comm directly to the server, but is not capable of like a telephone-based call where there could be a call directory there and have options of numbers. It's basically just going to be a push-to-talk type system. One benefit of it is, though, that it can interrogate the server every time a card is read, so that basically real time when a card gets entered into the system, that card can be used at a gate because the gate will communicate with the server and establish the entry control list at that point. So it's, again, just our biggest limiting factor is the lack of a fiber optic network around the airport. So we're somewhat limited in the abilities we have at the gate, but this system that the Mesquite Electric has proposed is pretty robust given that limitation.
Thanks, Chris. This is Michael again. And one of the problems here is Tim Politz, I pronounced Tim's last wrong, but I can't tell if he's with us or not, and we haven't given him the opportunity to speak.
Do you hear me now? Do you hear me now?
Yeah, we can. You.
They keep muting me. I keep getting muted by somebody.
I know. Go ahead and please tell us your opinion.
At this point, I think that I would have support investigating these upgrades that are being proposed.
Okay. Now, Ken, just to confirm, because there was a lot of information going on here, I just want to ask the question again. I think you did confirm we are going to replace the gates with guillotine-style gates, and it is 100% grant fundable.
The gates are part of the fence project. That's correct, and it's 100% funded.
Okay, so this is then the gate access control system, but the gates are part of the fence project.
That's correct. The upgrade that we're talking about is the purchase and installation of a new access control system.
Okay. Does anybody else have comments about this matter? Okay, seeing none, any members of the public have anything they'd like to add? Okay, I would entertain a motion on this if anyone cares to do so, to direct the airport manager to complete the purchase and installation of a new gate access control system in conjunction with the FAA AIP grant-funded fence and gate project.
This is Bradley Harris. I move.
Barrett seconds.
Thank you, Bradley. Thank you, John. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Tim, are you an aye?
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. The motion carries unanimously. Ken, do you want to give us the airport engineer's report?
Chris is here, so I think he can elaborate on those items.
Okay, Chris, go ahead.
Yes, good evening again. We've covered the fence project fairly extensively, but that contractor did start on Monday this week and will be kind of making their way around the airport. There's a variety of different work elements on that project, and we'll just be kind of doing a week ahead, look ahead on their work schedule as they make their progress around the airport. The 927 runway pavement maintenance project is getting ready to start. That contractor, I was just in communication with him, and with this cold front sweeping the country this weekend, this project may slip a couple days. So we're keeping an eye on that and staying in regular conversations with Ken on that. We are strongly looking at the possibility of just doing crack sealing this winter because of the overnight temperature. So this project may change to just nighttime closures this calendar year and do a 24 or 48 hour closure sometime next spring, just looking at the temp forecast. The snow removal equipment building design is underway. Our next major milestone on that is November 9th, where we'll be submitting a schematic design to Ken for review and approval before we proceed further with the design. So that's our next major milestone. At this point, the architect is working on some, I guess, floor plan type elements, and we are working through getting survey and geotech for the more civil related design elements. So that project's moving along nicely, looking to be completed in early 2021 for a bid next spring, and the construction of that would be funded under an FY21 AIP project. That's just a quick brief update on our engineering topics going on at the airport.
Thanks, Chris, for having us on the conference/call today. Appreciate it.
Appreciate being here.
Can you give us your report?
Thank you, Chair Golden. You reviewed the fuel flowage fee for the year over year. It was flat, a little bit of minor growth, 0.1%. However, it's still holding steady in comparison to earlier in the year. Gary Province official retirement date's the 26th. I'm going to have Gary at the next board meeting so we can give him a proper send-off. Casey Paving did complete the repaving of the perimeter road. They did a pretty nice job. We had them come out and restripe the center line as it wasn't meeting our standard, and it looks really good now. And I felt we got a nice little bonus out of some extra pavement. I participated in a call with city planning yesterday regarding the major project review for the Helimax project. The big takeaway that I got from that meeting was that there's not going to be a required zoning change for light industrial, that their aeronautical repair work is considered meets the light industrial zoning criteria. There were several questions for them that are going to go out in a letter from planning for their response. They are looking at building a 30,000 square foot hangar to start, and some other discussion regarding their offices, training areas, parking, airport access, that sort of thing. We still have not had any further discussions with them regarding the access permit, but after hearing the Planning Commission say there wouldn't be a required zoning change, then I think we can probably begin that dialogue. Real quick, had the virtual conference for the Nevada Airports Association on October 2nd. Steve Takis participated in that as well. It was the conference that was originally scheduled in Tonopah in April, and we looked for a future date to conduct that conference. It didn't really work out that way, but I think we had a good conference overall. Some exciting changes. One is the name of the organization's been changed from Nevada Airports Association to Nevada Aviation Association, so we can broaden the base of participants in the state with the objective of creating some harmony amongst the statewide aviation system plan. I'll be sitting on that committee with the grant that's currently underway to conduct that plan. And the other exciting thing out of that was they approved a strategic plan for the group. So I see some vitality in that organization. Steve Takes has been involved with that group for for a number of years, and I think he could vouch for some of the exciting things we're talking about with the legislature coming on board on February 1 of 2021. Also in my report is the activity for the airport for the month. The ADSB traffic was down significantly over August, probably because school's back and those kind of activities are kicking back up. I expect to see maybe flat for the year going forward, but some turnaround in early 2021, maybe first or second quarter. But after those items, if anybody has any questions for me, I'm happy to answer them. I'll turn it back over to you.
Thanks, Ken. Just a quick comment. One of the reasons you said the flight activity was a little less. You may recall that in the month of September, we had some pretty bad smoke events locally that caused us to go well below minimums, and the airport was essentially shut down on a number of days.
I forgot that. That's a good point. Thank you.
Yeah, just an FYI, it's striking in my mind that we had that going on. With that note, Steve Takis, do you have anything to report to us?
Yes, I just wanted to report that today was the deadline for people to get applications in for the 2 open airport authority positions. One is Paul Hamilton's term's expiring. The other one is manufacturer. Thankfully, Paul has reapplied for that position, and under the law change that we had done 2 years ago, he is eligible to serve another term. The manufacturer slot, they've received 1 application, is from Carl Hutter, who has had experience on the airport authority before. And as you know, they're probably the biggest manufacturer user of the airport and aviation science, for that matter. And so it was unclear when the Board of Supervisors would be able to approve them. The city manager's office said they were going to try and get it on for the very first meeting in November. That way, they're both active to vote at the first meeting in November. And that would be seamless for Paul because Paul's term actually ends at the end of October, I believe. And so that is all I have to report. I don't know. The city manager's office also didn't know if they were going to actually have interviews with the candidates like they have done for other appointments. And so we'll have to wait and see on that. And so it's very likely that the Board of Supervisors, because they only have 2 candidates, will just take action on that at their November meeting. I don't have anything else to report.
Thank you, Steve. And on that note, I want to personally thank Paul Hamilton for agreeing to stick with the program for another 4 years. That's very kind of you to volunteer your time and efforts and resources. And on behalf of everybody you work with here on the Airport Authority, thank you, Paul. Really, really appreciate it. John Rogers, you want to tell us about the treasurer's report?
Okay, there's just a couple of items. We now have 1 operating checking account for the airport, and all of the other accounts have been shut down and moved to the interest-bearing government investment pool accounts. So that's a change for the better. Other than that, so far this year, our financial performance is tracking much more closely to last year's number than to our budget. As you all remember, we budgeted for a substantial decrease in revenues. Those have not come to pass so far this year. So we're tracking quite closely so far to have a flat year compared to last year, a year very similar to last year. That's it.
Hey, John, it's Michael. Always better to under-promise and over-deliver.
Spoken like an entrepreneur, I get it.
Okay. Anyone have any comments on the treasurer's report? Okay, seeing none. we do have this report from Airport Authority members. I'm going to use this as a moment to ask a question of our Airport Authority members. We all volunteer our time, and I need to ask the question. I see the setup there at the convention area in the theater. Is this something we want to do to have our meeting there in November? Or do we want to continue with the WebEx remote meeting? I'd like to know what everybody thinks of that.
Well, I'll kick it off as the only person here who isn't volunteering his time as the Board of Supervisors member. The Board of Supervisors met here at their last meeting, and we will be continuing to do that while the Sierra Room itself is being redone so that we can get people in despite COVID. So I think we could meet here. That's just my suggestion, but we'll see. We met here a week ago Thursday, and it went quite well. And it's nice not to have some people not here and some people here.
Okay.
This is Bradley Harris. I'll comment.
John, Bradley, what do you guys think?
I like the in-person meeting if at all possible. I mean, I think if we had a giant spike locally in COVID numbers, we might want to reconsider. But in the absence of that, I'd like to see us go back to meeting in person. I think that there's value in being able to look somebody eye to eye, so to speak.
Through the plexiglass?
This is Bradley Harris.
Brad?
I like the meeting in person. I'd like to do it here again. Thank you.
Can I ask, is it set up so that we could have 7 people up there?
Yes, it could accommodate that. There's 5 seats in the middle, and then there's 2 on each end. So there's plenty of room, and there's even a position for the clerk, I believe, in the back. But I do want to. I might as well jump on the grenade now. About 3 or 4 weeks ago, I was contacted by somebody from the Transportation Commission, and they said, "Hey, we got a problem. We need to bring 2 groups together in November, and the date available is the date that you have the room." And so, in an attempt to be accommodating, I said, "Oh, I think that'll work. We're meeting online." So I will go and search the calendar with the city staff and find a date. It may be other than the Wednesday, the 3rd Wednesday. And so I'll see what I can do and get back with you on the availability. I'm pretty sure we can pull something together.
Okay, we can, I think we can struggle through one more remote access meeting if we have to. If it doesn't work, Ken, don't bang your head up against a wall.
I'll let you know how it shakes out.
Yeah, let's just go on that then. Any other members of the Airport Authority have anything they'd like to discuss?
This is Tim Pulis. You weren't asking me to discuss anything. First off, I'm a little disappointed I wasn't even notified that we could meet together. I would have been there if I was notified. Secondly, I vote to meet in person. These technical issues are just overwhelmingly difficult. So if any way to meet in person, even if it takes a different meeting date, I'm supporting it.
And Tim, this is Ken. I'd like to apologize for that. It was strictly a game day thing. It just came together this afternoon because I mentioned that when we scheduled this meeting, because of the importance of our agenda items, I was going to be here, and I didn't broadcast it to anybody. And then I happened to mention it today to Bradley when he was asking about getting connected, and I said, "Well, hey, I'm going." And then John and I were talking about financials, and he said, "Well, heck, I'd like to go." And then Paul came into my office, and I said, "Okay." And then I called John Barrett because he lives right here in town. So please accept my apology for that. It was not nefarious. It was just a moment, and and it just happened, and I didn't want to inconvenience anybody. And I figured that for Michael and yourself, that might have been an inconvenience, a late notice. And I know that Mr. Takis has some issues regarding protecting family members, so I didn't want to reach out to him and put him in that position either.
Thank you, but I'm happy to come to that meeting. It looks like a great setup from the video.
Well, thank you, guys, and I'll let you know what I find out for the November meeting. I'll look at the calendar with April.
Yeah, Ken, for me, this is Michael. I can talk to you offline, but the third Thursday of the month probably wouldn't be bad.
Okay, I'll talk to her tomorrow, and we'll see if we can pull that together.
Okay.
Yeah, the third Thursday of the month doesn't work very well for me because that, of course, is the Board of Supervisors Day.
That's right.
Oh,
Then it won't be available.
Well, let me just work with April. I'll get some dates, and I'll circle back with everybody.
sounds good. Okay. Last chance, members of the public, anyone like to speak on any matter that's not agendized? Now would be your last opportunity.
I see no public comment, Mr. Chair.
Thank you so much. Any members of the Airport Authority have any agenda item requests for the next regular meeting? Now would be a good time to speak up.
No, I don't have an agenda item, but I would like to say regarding our airport managers making the decision to talk to somebody about letting them use the room rather than us on a date, thinking that we were going to be meeting by WebEx or Zoom or whatever. I think that's the kind of thing we expect him to do. And just as a general comment, I think he's the day-to-day operator, and I think he does a good job. I won't go any farther than that, but I think everybody knows what I mean.
Thanks, John. Appreciate it. Fair enough. On that note, I'm sure everybody would like to get home. So we're going to adjourn this meeting and hopefully see one another in person next month. Thank you all.
Thank you.